I think me personally, that's how I would rather be. I'd rather know I need to turn it off versus like having to convince myself to turn it on.
Turning it on, like, it's a hard thing to get into, you know? Like,
it's hard to change your mindset to like go from go.
Right. Like, I always tell my people, like, I don't look at it as like, oh, I have to go to work. I look at it as like, I get to go to work.
Yes.
You know, that's a cool way of like switching your mindset on that.
It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to have like the ability to make money, I guess. So what's good, everybody? We are back again with, I don't even know what episode this is anymore. We're just going to keep rolling it. But what's good, New Mexico style? And I'm here with my boy, Chris, also known as C-Twen. And he is the owner and operator of Finesse Barber Studio. And we're going to talk about how he got his start and let you guys, or give you guys an insight onto kind of what he's doing and why I'm like happy to have him here. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and let you get started. So what's up, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm glad we finally got to do this. I've been bugging him about this for like a really long time.
Yeah,
and
it's been we've been talking about it for a while now.
Yeah.
So cool to see it in action. So that's cool.
And I've been like saying like, oh, we're going to do this. And it has been a little bit on me, but like, I'm super happy we're doing it the way that we're doing it today. And so we'll go ahead and get started in the questions. And so why don't you go ahead and let people know a little bit about yourself and like how you get started and just about you, just about Chris.
Well, I'm Chris, of course. And how I got started, went to barber school. Now it's almost 11 years ago. So barber school, and after that, started off in Rio Rancho. Worked there for 3 years at a barber shop called Fades and All, which is no longer there no more. And then was blessed enough to open a shop with a partner 2016 or 2017. And then now, almost 8 years in, still rolling.
Yeah. So crazy quick little story on how me and him met. So I used to have another barber that I would go to like way back in the day. She actually got out of the business. So I was like scrambling to get a new barber.
Yeah.
And a friend of ours was like, hey, you need to go get your haircut here. That's where I go. So I was like, okay. And come in, get my first haircut. I was like, man, this haircut's so nice. And we started talking. Little did we know, like he actually taught my old barber. He was like her coach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was Lexi.
Yeah, I remember Lexi. I went to school with barber school with Lexi.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like interesting story, like full circle kind of moment of like, oh, I still stayed getting nice haircuts. It's the same lineage.
Weird circle, huh?
Yeah. So cool stuff, man. Well, good. Like, so my question for you, and I've never actually asked you this: how did you get the nickname C-Twen?
Shoot. Well, it started off in high school. It's like a weird thing that happened. I don't remember how Carter 3 came out.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of just stuck with that through basketball nickname. My number was 20 at the time. So it started off as C-Twen, like the C3 type of thing. And then just turned into C-Twen. And I kept it because, I know several Chris's that are barbers. So my barber in Roswell was Chris. When I started at Rancho, there was a barber shop across the street. There's a guy named Chris in there. The barber I was at had a Chris barber in there. So it was like it was always confusing when you say Chris, like the barber, you know,
right?
When you're like referring person or somebody. Like, so the first year or so, like my clients would go to that guy across the street. Their clients would come to me or come to the other barber. So I had to make myself different, and I just used that and ran with it.
Dude, it's so smooth too, because it's always like people will walk in and be like, "What's up, C-Twen?"
Yeah. It wasn't a bad one to adopt that name, you know. Yeah. So it was a cool transition, and people said to keep it, you know.
And it's interesting for me because like I would see people calling you that, and I'm always like, "What's up, Chris?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how many people call him Chris, but like,
yeah, I never introduced myself as C-Twen, you know. Yeah. But it's cool that people recognize me with that. But I always should introduce myself as Chris.
Yeah. No, that's cool. See, I know I was wanted to know that, and I was like, I'm gonna wait till we do to ask you that.
Yeah.
So going back to like your journey and everything, what would you say like were some experiences or things that kind of shaped you and have gotten you to this point as in your barber career or even just in life in general?
Yeah. So many, bro. Like at first I was just focused on my craft, just get good at cutting hair, you know? And then from there, how to make it legitimate, how to make it a career. So, I mean, there's been so much up and down that I enjoyed those hard experiences, those down parts, but a lot of good came from it. You know,
Yeah.
the behind the scenes, the taxes, licensing, and all that stuff. So there's been a lot
Yeah.
for sure.
It takes a lot of work for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be able to just bounce back. You know, you run into something, you're just like, just right when I thought I was like figuring stuff out, you never have it figured out.
I would say that there's like, after like having gone through all these interviews, like one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of people who have that ability to kind of start their own business and like is their ability to just persevere, man. Like,
Right.
I feel like that's
You just
huge.
gotta be resilience and not give up. Like I tell people, I like the challenge. You know,
Yeah.
I like at first not knowing something and then going through it and now knowing. I like that like gratification that it gives me.
Yeah. And it's cool, man. I mean, it's like it's learning, continuing to grow.
Right.
And it's reflective of like your business. Like it's every time I come in here, it's bumping and like
Right.
people are always happy and like you just feel that like in the vibe. Like if I've never told you that, like every time I'm here, I'm always happy. So
Right.
like, I feel like that's like that hard work that you put in. It definitely shows. Well,
For
as
sure.
we know in my haircuts, that's what I'm always telling you. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
So as far as like career goes, was there anyone who was like an influence on your life, or who was your biggest influence that kind of has helped you, like to motivate you, or kind of an example that you look up to?
A few for sure. My grandfather in Roswell, he owned a plumbing company. So, like, every time I went through like something in business, I'm like, well, he had to go through it, you know? Like, so it was always something to be like, I mean, if he could do it, I could do it, type of thing. Work ethic through him and then my parents, both of my parents. That's one thing I learned, just work ethic. So it was a good thing to embrace over here to just stay consistent with this. A lot of up and downs in here in the industry for sure, especially starting off.
Yeah. That grind is tough though, right? Like, especially there's barbers everywhere, right? But like to be a barber, I think you got to like there's something that sets you apart, right? Like, and I think that's your work ethic for sure.
Yeah. Work ethic, you know, creativity, your style, being available, missing family events, taking that sacrifice. Cause like you said, there's a dime a dozen. There's so many barbers, you know, so you got to put in that work to be successful in the career.
I would say like a big thing about it too is like your availability and like all the things that you just mentioned allow you to be successful, but it also allows you that ability to be like, this is why like I charge what I do. And and I like, it's more than, I don't think people understand, like it's more than just a haircut. Like,
yeah. More than just a haircut, what it ends up being, there's a relationship behind it. It could be an opportunity for other person that you're giving job offerings or whatever. Car salesman or salesman, the appearance of it.
Networking. Yeah. What are some of the challenges you faced along the way that you've encountered that I guess you could say like you look back on now and you're like, man, I'm not happy that I had to go through that, but it was definitely like a pivotal and turning moment for me.
For me personally, taxes was like a big like wall that was always in the way, like as in learning that, you know, and then when I opened the shop, I was 22 years old. So I was still young, still learning as I went. So, you know, figuring out like later on, like I was supposed to do this and supposed to be doing that, you know, and then when you see like something later, you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
But some of that stuff for sure.
I feel like
my biggest thing is taxes.
Yeah. And I feel like I'd be afraid to enter that point because of the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like once you got a handle on it, though, it was probably like a big relief. And just like,
no, definitely. Once again, so like that big experience was like how I approached almost everything. Like I was like avoiding it, but once I went through it, learned it, and the gratification of after now being smart with it, and understanding it, and learning how it works, you know.
Yeah,
that's like a cool little gratification on anything that comes in my way. That's like, I guess, tough because taxes. For me personally, some people might have that like figured out, but when I was 23 years old with a shop, I didn't understand.
Oh no, man! I think back to like when I was just 23, that would have been the last thing I would have been thinking about, was how to figure out how to do taxes for a business.
Right.
You're like, I was thinking about other things, but that was also part of my mind. Are there any current projects that you're working on that like you're looking forward to, or you know you want to talk about, or is there anything that kind of moving forward, like
for the barbershop,
or just in general?
For For the barbershop wise, I mean, I'm always trying to look at better ways to better the barbershop. Personal wise, I mean, I'm in a happy place right now. So like,
Yeah, he just newly got married.
yeah, it's already almost been a year. October.
Oh my gosh, that goes so fast. Okay, so I say that because it's like it feels like it was.
I was literally just thinking that the other day. I'm like, oh, I've been saying I'm recently married, and October will be a year, so it's already almost been a year.
Yeah, that's insane. Like I can't believe how fast that's gone.
Yeah.
Like I remember even like talking about it when it was coming up to that point, and then now that you're mentioning it, it's just like, damn, I can't believe it's been a year, dude.
Yeah.
That's so insane.
Crazy.
How do you see the industry changing in the next like 5 to 10 years, or like where I guess your business too, right? Like how do you see yourself evolving?
It's definitely evolved into like a appointment based type of business. You know, it saves everybody time, the barber time, the consumer's time. That's what I see the most. There's not too much walk-in barbershops anymore.
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest thing I see. And then of course the hairstyles always change.
Yeah,
of course,
for sure.
With that part of it.
I would say like with the ability to like have that on your phone now, like that's kind of helped you guys, I would think, maybe. Yeah. I'm not too sure.
Well, so I started off in a walk-in barbershop, and which was good to start off, and it's like a great way to start off. And you learn customer service, you meet different people, your timing, how to like cut quick if you need to, or all that stuff. So, and then like take for granted like when you are busy, you know, because like when you're walking, it's like sometimes like the first 4 hours, like you don't see nothing, you know, and then all at one time you get 10 people rushing in, you know?
It's like, damn.
So that's how you learn how to cut fast, or that customer service to please people, and they're not waiting there for 3 hours.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I honestly would have never like thought about that being a thing that's changed. But now that I think about it, that like I remember I used to just walk in and be like, hey, I need a cut today.
Right.
And now I'm never like, I'm like programmed to be like, okay, I need a haircut, I need to see, you know, of course, like if I can't find anything, I'll hit you up.
Right.
But for the most part, my first instinct is to just go look at your schedule. Yeah. Like not even just to come into the shop, is to go look at the schedule and find a time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super convenient. It's I enjoy it. I always tell people when people hit me up though too, like I don't not answer that.
Yeah.
You know? I know a lot of barbers I'd be like, send the link, book on the link. I'm super flexible, so I'll come in pretty much whenever if I'm not doing absolutely.
Yeah. Availability is the best.
Yeah.
For barbers, that goes for barbers. So what advice would you give to someone looking to break into the business, or maybe start their own shop, or even just to get started in general?
Just started in general, just practice your craft first. Work on that before learning like everything else. You just want to, because if you're practicing like or looking at everything and you're trying to practice your craft, it's just too much for your like to handle at once. So I always say practice your craft and then tap into like promotions or like the behind the scenes taxes part or whatever.
Handle your business first, or like I guess get good at what you're doing. And
right. So it's one less thing to worry about when you're doing other things, especially when you're opening a barbershop. It's just so much work, so much different worries, you know, bills and all that stuff. So if you at least know your craft, you can just focus on the business part of that.
Yes, that's super sound advice. And one thing I will say is like that I've noticed while I'm here, and I admire the hell out of you, and like it's one of my favorite things about you is like when other barbers come to talk to you, you're always giving advice. Like there's never a time where you're just like, hey, I'm busy. Right. Like you're always like you're like the dad in the shop, which is like so awesome to see, because you're just like everyone, you could tell like how much respect every single barber has for you. It's like one of the things I admire about you the most, honestly.
I definitely get the dad jokes in the shop, you know, but it is crazy because it's like a young man's thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like some of these guys come out of barber school are 20, 21, 22 years old, and but I actually love giving advice. Like I tell these guys, I want y'all to do probably better for yourself, because I see the opportunity you have. Yeah. Probably more than you want for yourself. Right. Like, so I like those conversations. Like, how can we all get better? Yeah. I like those conversations.
And going back to like feeling it in, like you feel that when you walk in here, like it feels like it all barbershops kind of have that vibe, but there's just something about being in a place where everybody's happy and comfortable, and like it feels like a bunch of brothers like just hanging out. Like that's how it always feels. Like there's never any hate, at least when I walk in here. I don't know.
Oh yeah, man. Like from the Finesse standpoint, I'm blessed to have, you know, we have 14 or 13 barbers in here, and great personalities in here. We all get along. Like, so from that point, it's like super blessed to have all the great personalities in here and great barbers. Like they're really good. But we all talk trash and stuff too. So sometimes we probably get each other nerves. But it's like all out of fun to make the day go by. Better.
Yeah, like it feels like again, like siblings, and then you're like the dad that has to check him, like, hey, yo, go get this guy over here, like like, so it's funny.
Yeah.
How do you manage to balance your work and life, your personal life with work? Because you are always busy. Like I never like see you not booked.
Right. That's always been my struggles was like I tell people, some people, like for me, I don't have a problem like working. I actually love what I do, so that's always been like learn how to not work,
Yeah.
Be better at being like
like learn to take a step back and relax a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's always been my struggle, and I've gotten better over the years. So yeah, that's always been my struggle.
Yeah, is there anything you've done to kind of like be more cognizant of that, or just to help you get better about doing that?
My wife, she just walked in, but she's helped me balance that out,
Yeah,
like because like I care about all this, I love it, but sometimes like there's other things for sure way important than this. So sometimes it's just like, oh, she tells me it's okay to sit there and do nothing. Like,
yeah,
I'm not that type of personality, but it's cool to have somebody in my ear to say it's okay to not go to work.
I feel like having a good partner in crime is good to like help you balance yourself, to be like, hey man, you need a break.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you definitely have that mindset of like, I'm gonna grind, and sometimes it's hard to know how to turn it off.
Right.
Yeah.
And I tell people, like, I'm glad I'm like my DNA's that way.
Yeah.
But also, like, I always tell practice on what you're not good at, and it's the opposite of that, which is chill out when it's time to chill out.
Yeah, and I've heard from a lot of people too, and like I think, me personally, that's how I would rather be. I'd rather know I need to turn it off versus like having to convince myself to turn it on. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because turning it on, like if it's a hard thing to get into, like
yeah, it's hard to change your mindset to like go from to like go.
Right. Like I always tell my like people, like I don't look at it as like, oh, I have to go to work. I look at it as like I get to go to work.
Yes.
Yeah. So like that's a cool way of like switching your mindset on that.
It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to have like the ability to make money, I guess.
Right.
So, are there any tools and resources or like books or trainings or anything that you've done that you would recommend to someone that helped you get started?
So I'm not really big on reading personally, but I've done a few audiobooks. Of course, the big one that pops up in my head is the Rich Dad, Poor Dad one.
Yeah.
And that's a cool one
it's a great book.
Yeah. To just learn how to switch your mindset. Yep. Once again, back to instead of I have to go to work, it's I get to go to work type of mindset, just switching it up, looking at something and switching your mindset on it.
Mindset is everything. I don't think people realize how important that is.
Oh yeah. I think, the mind, it's very strong.
It really is, man. I feel like that was big for me. Like now that you're speaking on that, like when I changed my mindset, that opened so many doors for me. Like because it allowed me to see like I need to start taking care of myself, and then it opened up opportunities like this, right? Like today,
right?
Like if I don't have the mindset to just keep bugging you, because like I want to get this done, because I want people to know how awesome you are,
right?
I could have just sat at home, and then I know this never gets done, right? Like, and I just like sit on this project, and like we never have this opportunity to have this conversation. So
yeah, which I'm glad you did, because it takes, once again, it's taking me out of my comfort zone. I'm not much of an in front camera person, so it's cool to. And actually, I'm enjoying it now.
Yeah,
now that we're like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, like if you go peep his IG, like you never see him on there. Like he's not on there, so like it's cool. I'm happy that I finally got him on camera.
Yeah, never been big on the camera.
I think I did a TikTok one time and I forced him to be, but he had a mask on, so it wasn't even. It wasn't even like COVID? It was during COVID, so it was like it wasn't even like full face, man. Last work related question, and we'll get into the fun stuff. What mark do you hope to leave when you're all said and done? In the industry, or even just in life in general?
I guess looking forward, like I won't want to grow the shop, but leaving my mark is to have something to pass it down, in the barber industry, that's why I try to do something like try to do everything right, so that there's something that's still standing. In the barber community, it's always like just kind of pay the bills, and then once that barber that owns it is retired or gets out the game, like that shop closes down, you know?
Yeah.
You see that generations, barber shops don't last. So I'm trying to change that and have something last even after retiring, or I could step away from or pass down.
I think you're doing a good job, bro. Like I feel like Finesse is like a well-known name. Every time they're like, where do you get your haircut? I'm like, Finesse. They're like, what? Me too.
Yeah, and it's not just me. One second, we have great barbers in here.
Yeah.
We got really good barbers. So blessed to have a community like that.
And it takes a village.
Yeah.
So I guess like so I would even like say like growing a business like raising a kid, right? Like,
oh, bro, I even think it's like more attention. Like I don't have a kid, but when we first started off, like it was 7 days a week, like not just for 6 months or a year, like it was 3 to 4 years, like every day, bro, like
nonstop.
Not just working, putting your name out there, but small things, upgrades, you know, and then things break, barber chairs break, got to buy a new one, or people try to break in, you got to get new glasses, or water heater goes out. It's like the smallest things that you don't think of, but it just takes time to do, you know?
And again, that perseverance, man, of just like that, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's like.
So, yeah, that's, once again, like all that stuff, like now I used to, before owning a shop or something, I used to be like, dang, that's just like a hassle or like out the way to do that. Now it's like I take on that challenge. I love doing it. You know? Once it's done and complete, I'm like, heck yeah. What's next? What else can I do that betters the shop?
No, dude, that's awesome, and I definitely admire that. And like I said, that just vibes and resonates throughout the shop. So proud of you, man. And I'm glad we got to do this today. So let's get into like the 10 questions, the fun part of this. Okay. And then we'll wrap it up, man. And that's it. See, you got through this super easy,
dude. I know. All the nerves are gone.
All right. First 10 questions. You don't have to really think too much into this if you want to. First question. If you had to watch one movie on repeat, what would it be?
Dang. I like funny movies. We recently been watching Dumb and Dumber over and over.
All right. Yeah. Hey, Dumb and Dumber is an all right movie. With the original one or which one?
The original one.
Okay, the OG one. Yeah. I love that one.
I don't think I remembered the other, either 2 or 3 they made after that.
There's a reason you don't remember. Yeah. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Superpower, shoot, I guess just go invisible.
Invisible?
Yeah. Should go be nosy and peep and see things that I guess you're not supposed to see when people don't know you're there, you know?
You're like, hey, yo, I was there.
Yeah.
What?
I heard you say what you said.
Well, okay, next question it's a little bit different. What is your superpower? Like if somebody like you had to say like personally, what is your superpower?
Just shoot, that's a good question. I don't know. It's a good one. Just being like
resilient.
Yeah, resilient. Like
he really is.
I don't stop. If it's like talking shit, I talk shit a lot. If I was working, I would just work a lot. Like,
no, it's so funny. I'll get a haircut. I'll be like, all right, bro, sounds good. Catch him, and literally by the next minute, he's on to the next person. I turn around and the guy's already like halfway through the cut, and I'm like, what the hell? Like I was like, I just said bye to him like 2 seconds ago. Describe yourself in one word.
Passionate.
Passionate. That's a good one. I would totally agree with that for sure. What's your go-to Gatorade color?
Honestly, I don't even drink Gatorades like that. I think they have a lot of sugar in them, but I drink a liquid IV more, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers their question.
No, it does. Okay, well, if you had to pick
white, I don't know.
White? Okay, that's fair.
No, yellow.
Yellow? Okay, yellow. Because I feel like everyone always names them off the color. They don't actually know what.
I honestly don't drink Gatorade or Powerades often.
Okay. Liquor or beer?
I've been on my beer kick, sadly, now.
What have you been drinking lately?
Dos Equis is usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were gonna do a mixed drink, what would you do?
Like whiskey Coke or just tequila. It depends. Whiskey Coke chilling. If I'm more like a party scene or something, Vegas or something, tequila.
Feel that. I love tequila. Tequila's my favorite. So, favorite place to eat? This is an important question right now.
Yeah, I guess I love tacos, so I get tacos every day. I guess I'll give you 2.
Okay, perfect.
There's Tapin Taco and Rio Rancho. That's a cool little vibe.
Love Tapin Taco.
And then Vamos con Gloria, which is it's in Albuquerque.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. That's my favorite taco spot in town.
The hard shell tacos.
Oh
yeah,
bomb! We're gonna to blast them and hopefully get them on the channel.
You got to.
I asked them already, and they were down for it. They just don't want to be on camera, so they were totally down with me reviewing the shop and everything.
Yeah,
bro,
they're super cool.
Favorite
people.
tacos.
yeah, they recognize me when I go and they recognize when I call. I haven't been in there in a while, but
they're like, "Hey, yo."
I love it for sure. It's
No,
probably
dude,
the best tacos in town.
I was so happy you said that because I think the same thing. They're my favorite tacos in town.
Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength. We're vibing right now. Ideal day off activity.
Shoot. Well, now that football season is about to start, I'm looking forward to that on Sundays. So I probably will not do no haircuts on Sundays. Sometimes I come in on Sundays, but not during football season. It's something like chill, hop on the grill,
Yeah.
chill with the family.
It's the vibes. We and him are like always connect on that, on like kind of what we want, like envision for our future, like outside of work.
Right.
And we're always talking about like Sundays for football because we're both Cowboys fans. So like we go through the struggle together. Like it's unfortunate, but
we have a good season.
Yeah, we did. Positive vibes. It's gonna be a good year. It's our year.
Yeah. Every year.
Dog or cat person?
Dog for sure.
Yeah.
So dog for sure. We have French bulldogs. We recently had our first litter. So yeah.
Yeah.
We got puppies for sale.
Bump that. I'll bump that page and we'll get that on here too.
Yeah, for sure.
Last question, and then we'll kind of wrap up. What song do you pick to get you hyped up? If you had to pick one, or is there like one that currently you're like? Because I know that changes for me.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, mine changes like weekly. Right now it's Nipsey Hussle, Overtime.
Overtime. That's a great song.
Yeah.
See, I like to ask that question because like now that'll be the song that we overlay on this.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like,
cool, yeah. It's a good song.
No, cool, man. That was the last question. Thank you again so much for doing this, bro. Like, it was a pleasure. Like, I'm happy people are going to get to see a little bit about you and get to see a little bit more of the personality. I mean, if you get a haircut by you, obviously you see it, but.
Right. Yeah. People tell me, too, I got the personality for the camera and stuff, but every time a camera comes on, I shut down.
We just have to start recording you without you knowing, because he really does. Like, I swear to God, like he's like one of my favorite people. It just we hear vibing and he says some shit, and I just think it's like the funniest thing. Like,
everybody always says like like my personality. It's weird. Like I can embarrass myself in front of 100 people in person. Once you have a camera up, I'm like super quiet. It's crazy. Like I won't embarrass myself in front of the camera, but in front of 100 people in person, I would.
And somebody like he'll check like the younger barbers too. Like they try to say things to you, and like the way he checks them is so funny. Again, like a dad checking his kids, man. And they just showed up, and then the whole shop like will clown on them, and that's probably one of my favorite things. When we
and that's one of the best parts of the day, is coming here and talking trash with all the homies. Like, that's what you don't feel like you're working,
Right? Yeah,
so that's cool.
Well, cool, brother. Well, again, thank you for doing this. I'm super proud of you. Like. I don't think I ever tell you enough, like how much like I admire you and like I respect you and like I love everything you're doing. Like it's cool to have peers that you look up to,
right?
And for me, you're one of them because it's to see you do this. It inspires me to keep going and to keep hustling and keep grinding. So thank you so much for doing this, bro. And
but also like same likewise. Like I mean, it's cool. Once again, we've talked about this probably since I've started cutting your hair, and it's cool. It's made it out of that conversation into action, and it's cool that. You're staying with
bro. And hopefully many more haircuts in the future. And because I couldn't imagine myself going anywhere else. Like every time I get a haircut from this dude, I get into trouble. And it's because I always I'll leave the shop. I'm not even joking. I'll leave the shop and like something will happen.
Yeah, they pop the out. You gotta go show it off.
It's definitely not me. It's the haircut for sure. Like I don't have anything to do with that. Like so. But again, thank you so much, bro, and I appreciate it. And yeah, good vibes.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thanks, brother. Cool. Oh, by the way, where are you located real quick? Sorry.
Oh, okay. We're 10131 Coors Boulevard. We're right behind Cottonwood Mall. Same shopping center as Marshall's, Harbor Freight, Spring Rolling, and Wex.